to week 6. Moving forward, we are going to be working out of our May calendar. This calendar was sent out to everyone via email on May 3rd. It was also sent out in your Remind app, and it can be also located on the class website under the Assignments tab. For the month of May, as I've already stated, we're working out of the calendar. You do not need to use geometrics. You don't need to worry about LearnKey. It does not matter if you have a Chromebook, a Mac, or a PC. Okay. The calendar contains all of the files that you need in order, well, the links to all of the files that you need in order to complete the assignments. Let's go to the calendar. So this is what the calendar looks like. Okay. If you click here, it will open up your student workbook. If you click here, it will open up the files that you need right here. So you have access to the files. Also pay attention to the due dates. Session 1 is due by Friday, May 8th. Okay. One more thing before I actually go into the assignment. Don't forget, it is very important for you to do this part right here, which is create your 4th 9 weeks folder and your 5 session folders. So I'm just going to do a quick recap on that. You're going to go with shared with me. You're going to click on your class period. Click on your name. Create a 4th 9 weeks folder if you do not already have one. Inside the 4th 9 weeks folder, I would like for you to have session 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 folders, okay? And this is where you're going to be saving your work. So this week's work is going to be saved in session 1. Let's go ahead and get started. So I clicked here, I opened up my workbook. I clicked here and I opened up my student files, all of your files here. So when you go to the workbook, okay, first of all, it tells you go to page 14. Okay, when you go to page 14 in the workbook, make sure that you are actually on page 14. You'll notice up here it says 19. Okay. But at the bottom of the page, you'll see it says 14. Okay? So that's how you know that you're on the right page. Another way to know that you're on the right page is in the assignment. It tells you navigate to workbook elements. That's the name of the assignment. Navigate to workbook elements. Okay? And here it is right here. Navigate to workbook elements. Please do not forget to read this information here, okay? It's important and it gives you tips on how to complete the steps below. So make sure you actually read this information here, okay? And when I demonstrate the second assignment, you'll see a perfect example of why it's important to read what you have here. Next, on the right side, you'll notice that it says video reference, okay? You'll notice a couple of things. You'll see that it tells you that you need the file 122-class schedule. It shows you to do this activity, it should not take you any more than 5 minutes to do this activity. The video reference. The video reference is talking about LearnKey. So it tells you the topic is, it's in session 1. The topic is import data and navigate workbooks, and the subtopic is navigate to workbook elements. If you go to LearnKey, you're going to go into session 1, import data and navigate workbooks. Click on videos, and here it is right here, navigate to workbook elements. So if you ever get stuck on an assignment and you need to refer back to the LearnKey videos, this will direct you as to which Learn Key video you can look at. So open the 122 class schedule workbook. So I have Excel and I already opened it. Here it is. Next, what you're going to do is select cells A1 through A17 and name the range mornings. So if you remember my little tip, A1 colon A17, and when you do that, when you type that in the name box right here, you're actually selecting a range. Hit enter and it selects it for you. Now, at this point, this is where you're going to type into the name box mornings and hit enter on your keyboard. Now, how do you know that you named the range? Click off of it, and I want you to go back to the name box, click on the drop down arrow, and you'll see mornings here. And you'll see when I select mornings, when I click on mornings in the name box, it selects the range for me, A1 through A17. Next, you are going to save the workbook. Now, when you save, we tell you exactly how we want you to save it. It says save as nav, work, and your name. What I do, a little tip, select it, all right, right click, copy, go to your Excel file, save as, pay attention to where you're saving the work, okay? And I'm going to just save it in my downloads. And paste, but this time make sure you put your name. So it's in downloads, save, and that's it right there. So what you're going to do next is you are going to go into your 4th 9 weeks folder, session 1, right click, upload files. And I saved it in my downloads folder. And here it is right here, nav work, Alicia John, open. And that's the first assignment. Next, for Tuesday, May 5th, we are still in session 1. This time you're going to go to page 16. And the name of the assignment is adjust row height and column width. So let's go there. So let's go to page 16. Remember, you're looking down here, not up here. Adjust row height and column width. It matches the assignment. For this assignment, we are going to use file 132-classes by month. Okay? So go to my Excel, file, open, and I am going to go to my downloads. And here it is right here, 132 classes by month. So this is what the file looks like. Your instructions are open the 132 classes by month, and then you start going right into Autofit and whatnot. Remember what I told you about it being important for you to read the information here before you go down to the steps? And I'm going to show you why that's important. After you open the 132 classes by month workbook, it says to auto-fit the rows and columns of the entire worksheet. The way that you do that is you'll notice that everything is kind of scrunched up over here. All right, it's not opened up. You see, you can't see the second part of the cell. Select the entire cell, double click, and you'll notice it opens it up. And then you're going to double click right here. So right here, by selecting the entire worksheet, double clicking on the line that separates the columns, you auto fit the columns. Double clicking on the line that separates the rows, you auto fit the rows. And by doing that, you have satisfied step number 2. Step number 3, select rows 2 and 19 of the workbook and use the format button on the ribbon to adjust their height to 30 points. Now, it doesn't say 2 through 19. It says select rows 2 and 19 of the workbook. And you're going to use the format button to adjust the height to 30 points. So select rows 2, and you can hold down your command. If you are on a Mac, it's command or control. And you are going to select 19. Okay? So you're going to select both 2 and 19. So you're holding down the control key on your PC, command on a Mac. So you selected 2, you selected 19. You are going to be on the Home tab, go to Format and Row Height. And the row height, one more time, is 30 points. So there, type 30, hit OK. So we've increased the height for rows 2 and rows 19. Next, number 4, change the width of column A to 20 zeros. So you're looking at that and you're like, what's 20 zeros? I don't understand. Well, guys, remember I told you it was important to read all of the information that you're presented with before actually completing the steps? You will notice the second paragraph says, in normal view, row height units and column widths are different. Row heights are measured in a standard unit known as points. There are 72 points in 1 inch. On the other hand, column widths are measured in zeros, the numbers of 0 characters that fit in a cell that is using the normal style. So basically, it's just telling you how wide the column is going to be. So number 4, change the width of column A to 20 zeros. All you have to do is select column A, make sure you're on Home, go to Format, column width right here, and what are you going to do? You're just going to type 20 and click OK. That's it. That's it. It sounds complicated because you see the 20 zeros, but if you are reading the information that's given to you before coming down to the steps for completion, you would have seen that it's just telling you how the spacing is formatted when you are in normal style. That's all it is. Okay? Now, step number 5, you're saving. How are you going to save the work? You're going to save the work by naming it row height with your name. My little trick, copy, file, save as. I'm leaving it in downloads, paste and backspace, and put my name. Save. Go to your drive. I'm still in session 1. Right click, upload files. It's in my downloads, and here it is, row height. That's the second one. Next, you have the Zoom session for Wednesday. The link for the Zoom session can be found here. It tells you it is going to be held at 12 p.m. The meeting ID and the password is included in the calendar. A little word of advice for the Zoom session. It is not mandatory. It's just there to help you if you are struggling with a question, if you need further assistance completing a task. Okay? Also, in order to be admitted into the Zoom session, you have to type your full name. That means your first name and your last name. Don't just type your first name, Alicia, and think that you're getting into the Zoom session. There are many Alicias out there. I have no idea who you are. So, one more time. In order to be admitted into the Zoom session, you must enter with your first and last name in order to be admitted. All right, so let's go to Thursday. So Thursday, session 1, we're working on page 20. It's called Freeze Rows and Columns. And for this one, you're going to use file 143, classes by month. So here, I already downloaded it. So file, open, 143, classes by month. And this is it right here. So what is it that we have to complete for this assignment? Remember what I told you guys? When you go to open up the PDF, make sure you look at the page at the bottom, okay? You're looking at the bottom and you can see page 20 right here, freeze rows and columns. One more time, videos are located on the right side. These correspond to Learn Key. So if you ever get stuck on an assignment, you can go to Learn Key, session 1. The video is called Customize Options and Views, and the subtopic is Freeze Rows and Columns. So we're still in session 1. Okay. And which video are we doing? Customize Options and Views. Click on Videos. And here it is right here. Freeze rows and columns. All right, so that's one more time. If you get stuck, you can refer back to the videos that you already watched, because we are done with Learn Key. So that means you watched all of the videos already, but you can go back to them to review. So let's open up the 143 classes by month workbook. And what we're doing is we're freezing the first 2 rows and the first column. Okay. So this is 143 classes by month. So if you remember from the video, if you want to freeze rows, you would go below the rows that you want to freeze. So because I'm freezing the first 2 rows, I know that I'm going to be clicking in row 3. Also, it wants you to freeze the first column, which is column A. So one more time, when you want to freeze a column, you click to the right of the column. So that puts me right here. I'm in cell B3. Cell B3 will freeze the 2 rows above me, above B3, which is cell rows 1 and 2. And it will freeze the column to the left, which is column A. So in order to go to freeze rows, you have to go to the View tab at the top. And in the Windows group, you'll see Freeze Panes, and you're going to click on the first one. Click here. And you'll notice that little lines appear. Okay? Now, when I scroll, you'll notice the first two rows are frozen. They don't move, okay? And same thing, if I were to scroll to the right, you'll see that that first column is frozen. It doesn't move, okay? So I've completed the task. Next, we're saving. Okay, how are we going to save the third assignment? You're going to save it as freeze with your name. Select it, copy it, go back, file, save as. I'm saving in my downloads. Let me see it, John. Save. Go to my drive, right click, upload files. It's in my downloads, and here it is right here, freeze. And that's it. As you can see, I've already completed all of the work for this week. Now, we the teachers, how are we going to grade this? Okay, this is exactly how we're going to be doing this. We're going to open up the folder. We're going to go to your class period. We're going to click on your name, and we're going to click on the 4th 9 weeks. This week's work should be in your session 1 folder. This is the only place that we will be looking. Go to session 1. I should see freeze. I should see nav. I should see row height. Okay. If I double click on freeze, it's in the preview mode. Okay. When I do this, when I scroll, I should be able to see that you actually did the freeze for rows 1 and 2. And same thing when I scroll to the right. Okay. If I see that I can scroll and the first 2 rows and the first column is frozen, you get the credit. Now for this one, nav work, okay? For this one, we actually download it and open it up. And when I open it up, what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the name box, okay? And that's how, let's see, let's do this one. It's just asking me how I wanted to open it up, okay? So this is how I'm going to grade your work. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say, oh, okay, there's mornings. And then I'm going to see that you selected A1 through A17. Okay. So that's how that's going to be graded. All right. Next and lastly, for row height. Row height, when I click here and I look at the measurements at the top, it should say that it was 30. And then when I click to find out the width of the column, it should say that it's 20. And that's it, guys. That's all there is to it. Okay. So the assignments, as you can see, they should not consume a lot of your time. They should not. This one was 5 minutes. Okay. The other one was also, let's see, 5 minutes. And then the first one that we did, 5 minutes. 5 minutes each, 15 minutes for 3 assignments. And you add in, I don't know, 5 minutes to upload. So 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Your assignments for week 1, session 1, is a total of 20 minutes worth of work. That is split up among the whole week. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful to you. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the Zoom sessions. If you have any questions, remember you can reach out to myself, Miss Gant, or Miss Acuna, as we're all team teaching for the month of May. And if you have any questions. All right, guys, take care and see you guys next week.